Hi everyone, it's Rebecca Windermere here. I'm just going to provide you with a really quick one take, no edits video to introduce you to my new academic paper that was published today in Energy Policy Journal. So the paper provides the results of two surveys that were undertaken with communities who have been living close to two of our oldest English wind farms. And the survey aimed to understand the community's experiences of living with the wind farms for the past 25 years, and also their responses to repowering applications. And for those of you who are not familiar with that term, a repowering application is an application to remove the existing turbines and replace with new. And the reason I did this research is that there's a lot of brilliant social acceptance research out there looking at community opinions of a wind farm pre-planning and maybe post-planning consent. But there was an absence of research looking at how communities may experience living with a wind farm over the longer kind of operational lifetime of the wind farm and how their acceptance may change. So I really wanted to look into that and kind of understand people's experiences, because I think we can learn a lot from these existing wind farms, particularly as sites begin to reach the end of their 25-year planning consents in the UK and where elsewhere sites are reaching the end of their operational lives. So the two cases that I looked at, one was a site with high opposition, both to the original application and to an application to repower, and subsequently an application to life extend, which means to increase the duration of the original planning consent. And then another site that had kind of less opposition and generally more support. And the survey looked at a range of different aspects, including their opinion and how they responded to the original planning application, if they were living there at the time, their opinion of the operational site, their opinion of the repowering applications, and different aspects of the wind farm, such as any community benefit, their opinion of the developer, those types of questions. And there's a lot more detail on that in the paper. But today I'm really just going to touch upon some of the headline findings from that paper. Significantly, there's a lot of talk sometimes about kind of people will become accepting of wind farms over time. Acceptance will happen when people are familiar with them. But my research found acceptance won't happen if people are not having a good experience, if people are not kind of being treated well. So there's a couple of kind of key factors there. Firstly, it's important that communities are benefiting. So are they getting some form of benefit, such as a kind of financial benefit? Also, it's important that the community has a good relationship with the wind farm developer. So they've got that communication there and they've got that trust. It's also important that if an application such as a repowering application is going in, that communities are actually being kind of really involved in those decisions and in the application process. And what's particularly important about this research is that it suggests that it may not be possible for all of our wind farms to be repowered. If communities haven't had a positive experience, then they're not going to support an application for a site to be repowered and to keep having the turbines there. So that's important. And linked to that, it's really important that we think about how communities are being treated and looked after when they're living near these wind farms. So we're not just thinking about them during the times of the planning applications, but actually over the lifetime of the wind farm, how is the community doing? How are they benefiting? How are they kind of being communicated with? So there are some of the kind of key findings that came out of this paper. So the paper provides a few kind of suggestions. Firstly, we need to consider how communities are and can be really involved in those end-of-life applications, such as the repowering applications, and how their views should be taken into consideration in the decision-making process. It's also important to think about how communities may benefit through repowering, and that links to an earlier paper I did earlier this year with a colleague, where I looked at the potential for communities to co-own wind farms during repowering. But most importantly, it highlights that importance of thinking about communities over the operational life of wind farms. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now, but please do send me an email or contact me on Twitter if you read the paper and have any questions. Thank you.